8:46 this morning, and we're joined by Jim Higgins with the Higgins firm to talk about attorney-client privilege. And we're talking about this after a tweet from President Trump when he said attorney-client privilege is dead. That happened just after the feds raided his personal attorney, Michael Cohen. So let's get to the basics of this. Are there limits when it comes to attorney-client privilege?
You know, there are, and it's interesting. As much as we have had going in the news and the administration and things going on, it's kind of pushing us back to look at these core principles that we really never question. And attorney-client privilege is one of them. I mean, for all us lawyers, it is just sacred. You want someone to come in and be as honest as they can with you. And so I spend as much time as I need telling my client, ensuring whether it's on the phone or in my office to say, hey, whatever you tell me, it's between us. Just like if you go to your doctor or your priest, because you want somebody to be comfortable talking, telling you the good and the bad, so you could give them good advice. And so it was a little unsettling when something like that happens. Now, there are limits, and that's what we're seeing now.
What are the limits that we're talking about now?
So limits, the attorney-client privilege comes up when I come in and say, hey, this is what happened to me. This is what I'm going through. How do I handle it? If I'm using a lawyer or someone is using a lawyer to commit a crime or the furtherance of a crime, how do we do this? That's not getting legal advice. That is really almost like a co-conspiracy. So there's no privilege to that. The other, what I see, normal people, like all of us,
like
somebody that comes in, where they bust the privilege, where they inadvertently waive the privilege, or where lawyers I've seen make a mistake doing it, is they'll have someone in the room besides their client.
And that it's not extended to them.
It is not. You know, I have people that'll bring their friends because they want comfort, and I always have to say, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but I need you to leave for a little bit, because to be a privilege, you can't tell third people. And social media, people tweet about stuff, talk about stuff.
And that's where it blows up too, because they'll use that in court against you.
Absolutely. And they say, well, you must not be worried about the privilege. You're not claiming your privilege because you blabbed all over social media. So those are inadvertent waivers. Those are two things that I really worry about nowadays to keep that privilege intact.
Jim Higgins with the Higgins Law Firm. Always a pleasure adding that perspective.
Thank you.